Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Guy Leibovitz, co-founder and CEO at Nominal. Guy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ben.
Hey, great to have you here because I know we're going to talk a little finance and accounting software today. So really excited for this. But first, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes, so I'm Guy Leibovitz, co-founder and CEO of Nominal and a third-time entrepreneur. My co-founder, Golan Kopyczynski, and I previously founded Cognigo, an AI and data security company that was acquired by NetApp in 2019. Also an angel investor and an LP to a few VCs. So I'm basically playing both sides of the table.
Yeah, every now and then get both sides of the table with a founder. Have done both investing and founding a lot of companies. So that's awesome. And then I think before, and you said your background also, you're technical by trade, so engineer by trade.
Yeah, I'm an engineer in data science. I actually dropped out from my master's degree in computer science to start my previous company, and it worked well. Right, my parents weren't happy, but after we exited, they're I think now they're really proud.
Yeah, that's great. So love that background. So yeah, let's talk about Nominal. Tell us about the products and or services that Nominal offers.
Yeah. So at Nominal, we're tackling the challenges faced by mid-market multi-entity companies. As you probably know, the current ERP market landscape is dominated by outdated technologies that require costly and lengthy engineering projects. This problem is even more acute for companies managing multiple entities, such as multinational tech, holding companies, and energy companies. Their controller usually use different accounting systems, leading to complex consolidation and reporting processes that require manual interventions and convoluted spreadsheets to perform the intercompany eliminations and transactions. At Camel, we solve this by unifying multi-entity finances on a single Gen AI-driven platform. Our twin ledger technology basically works side by side with the existing systems. So there's no migration and hence no risk. It ultimately aggregates data across siloed financial systems and handle all the intercompany elimination and transactions. And then we also use generative AI to automate complex accounting workflows like this accounting, ASC 842, account payables, and customer reporting, all in a single workspace. And basically, we try to allow controllers to control and focus on strategy rather than manipulating those convoluted spreadsheets.
Yeah, and I want to clarify one point just to make sure everybody understands. So you're not a general ledger. You're not replacing QuickBooks, or are you a general ledger?
So that's thank you for this question. That's key. So we are a general ledger, but
Okay.
what we do, we rebuild the general ledger from the journal entries. So every journal entry that you have in QuickBooks, Xero, Sage, NetSuite, Odoo, and a myriad other of ERPs and accounting systems, we actually rebuild the books from the journal entries. So you can generate custom reporting, etc. And then we can extend your ERP with, for instance, list accounting or custom workflows and reporting.
Okay. Okay. So that's interesting. So you're rebuilding those journal entries, those transactions, but your customers still need to be using QuickBooks or Zero or multiple accounting systems, oftentimes around the globe. But then you're taking all those transactions and then rebuilding that onto your general ledger.
Exactly. We've done, again, a research with over 120 financial professionals. And one of the main challenges they have, especially, in multiple entities, I'm sorry, with dealing with multiple entities is the fact that it's all siloed and then you do the consolidation in Excel. We took it to the next level by doing the consolidation at the journal entry level, which is pretty unique. And then on top of that, we have custom workflows with AI. The thing is that if you look at QuickBooks API or NetSuite, etc., in order to be a true, native Gen AI native ERP, you need to work from the journal entries upwards. There's no other way.
Okay. And then also you pointed out you're also doing lease accounting, revenue recognition. Then it looks like you've got close management as well. And tell us a little bit about revenue recognition because usually that requires right, hooked up to the source of that transaction, so the invoice, let's say, I live in the SaaS world, so subscription start and end dates. So you're still able to source all that data if they're not performing, say, revenue recognition in their current ledger, that you can then do that in Nominal.
Exactly. And the idea is really, I'll give you a few examples.
Mhm.
The idea is to take the business logic and then transform it with Gen AI. So I'll give you an example like commissions, right? So there's a trigger, there's a new invoice, we need to do the schedule, but there is also a keyword commission to be paid, right? And you need to have another schedule. So we can say, hey, every revenue that I have over $1,000, there's 10% going to the deferred commission, etc. So you can just describe in natural language your business logic, and Nominal will take care of the actual schedule. AI does not replace everything. There's a man and machine there. So you need to go and look at the schedule, see if it makes sense. And we do the same with leases. You can upload the lists, we'll understand the terms, and we'll generate the amortization table and the schedule as well. So there's another aspect, which is a subledger management. So we don't, not only that we have the general ledger, we also add the modules and the subledgers to basically enhance the ERP.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely need the subledgers to tie out the balance sheet accounts. So you mentioned you're targeting mid-market entities. So is it mid-market to enterprise? And then also what verticals are you going after? What types of industries?
Yeah, so we're looking mostly to work with multi-entity companies that their growth is directly correlated to the number of entities they have, like holding companies, insurance companies, renewable energy companies, data centers, etc. We do have some tech customers that utilize our subledger uh, technology, but we're looking for those companies that are still doing their consolidation in Excel, which is really error prone, and it's, nobody wants to have their books running on Excel. Ben, I'm telling you, you won't believe how many companies use their Excel as the main, P&L and balance sheet reporting tool. And Excel works at best at the balance level, right? So if you want to create like a very good, like solo reporting and group reporting, you need something like Nominal to help you to consolidate at the top level.
Mhm.
So that's basically kind of the companies that we're looking to work with.
Okay. And then I think I heard earlier you mentioned, say, energy companies, but is it any type of company that fits that regardless of the industry that they're in?
It depends, right? So
It,
we've been discussing with companies that have like SAP installations that cost them like, tens of millions of dollars. So we obviously are not relevant. And they're basically, sometimes you have like two guys with a truck, and that's also not relevant. So we're looking for companies with, let's say, 4 to 10 controllers, or 4 to 10 people in their in the finance department, and they're still struggling with Excel. So that's basically what we're looking for. If someone spent the $10 million on an SAP customization, then we're probably not relevant. And if someone has like 3 QuickBooks says online, like it's all very simple, that we also probably not as relevant. But this is really the mid market, right? Because there's a huge gap between QuickBooks or Zero to SAP. So we just want to fill in the gap.
yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I know I've talked to and worked with a lot of SaaS companies and different accounting software around the world, consolidating in Excel. So seems like that perfect fit. Plus, I love that you don't really have to kick out, say, a QuickBooks or Zero, right? You're sitting on top of that, which I love. So what year did you found Nominal?
We're 11 months old, or we founded in late April 2023.
Oh wow. So this is, yeah, pretty recent here. And then do you have a headquarters location, or you are all virtual?
Yeah, so we are headquartered in the best city in the world, New York City, and we have also an R&D center in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Okay. So headquartered in New York City, and then R&D center in Tel Aviv. And then what's your current team size?
And we're about 25 people. So we
25.
grew. I'm like so fortunate to work with many of my previous team members at Cognigo, and we decided to do something which is huge. And it's really interesting, that like moving from cybersecurity to accounting, cybersecurity is so kind of, a pie in the sky. Like we solve problems that maybe will happen, but with accounting, it's like, we save time and we save hours every day and we can actually measure it. So it's been really a phenomenal experience. It's funny, because security, I don't know if you know that, but if I remember correctly, the SOC 2 is AICPA. So there is a lot of kind of intersection between security and accounting. So it wasn't natural, but I have to say I wouldn't do anything else. I think there's such a big gap in the market and we're looking to solve it.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's interesting with the accounting that, yeah, you've got security compliance and internal controls, and a lot of that gets to access and security. So obviously, a field that you're really familiar with. And then at this stage, so coming up on a year, are you pre-revenue or are you generating revenue now?
Uh, we are generating revenue. We actually grew our revenue 4x from between Q4 and Q1. So we're growing pretty fast.
Oh, that's great. And then are your customers, where are you finding your customers right now? Is it just global that you're landing customers or certain regions?
Yes. So I'll give you kind of something that is kind of off the beaten track. We went to a renewable energy financing conference. So it's all about like trying to get for those renewable energy to get basically funding. And we had like 20 meetings. So we do some unorthodox go-to-market motions, but also, we're mainly focused on the US and we do have some private equity that we work with in Europe. So Europe and the US are probably kind of the two main markets.
Okay, and I was just going to ask next about your go-to-market motion. So it sounds like maybe attending events, trade shows, conferences to talk to prospects. Anything else that you're doing now to land customers?
Yeah, we do like very simple, LinkedIn automation, outbound, pretty much the usual stuff. And what's really works with CPAs? You won't believe it. Email marketing also works. Coming from like enterprise software, everybody tells you, don't do email marketing, doesn't worth your money. But when you go to more traditional industries, email marketing actually works.
Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, we all get tons of emails. I've got my CPA, but yeah, if you have a nice catchy subject line that's near and dear to your heart, like revenue recognition or consolidation, that's going to catch some eyes for sure. So moving over to the fundraising side, how much capital have you raised to date?
Yeah, so we raised in April 2023, $9.2 million led by Bleeding Capital and IPOI Ventures.
Okay, so that's right when you founded then, that you
Yeah,
started the company and then raised right away?
yeah. Basically at the bottom of the dip, like it was the hardest time in 20 years to raise money. But, I'm unfortunate to work with Kyle from Bling and Nathan from Hyperwise. And, they've been an amazing partners to our journey.
And tell us a little bit about that because talked to a lot of founders who develop the product, get it out there, early customers see some signals, see a little traction, and then think about a seed round. So you raised right away. So tell us your thoughts or how that came about.
Yeah, it was very natural because I've met with Kyle and Nathan. I'm also investing in IPOI, so we know each other for a long while. And when I came with the idea, it was we did some interviews and we were extremely ready, right? We interviewed 120 basically finance professionals to talk about the need in the market. We started focusing with tech, and then we actually decided to go and work with more traditional industries, and it worked perfectly. So we had kind of proof after this 120 interviews that we did. We had a few design partners that actually installed our twin ledger, and we just proved that you can build a general ledger and have a two-way sync with a NetSuite, QuickBooks, and Xero. Once we proved that, we start fundraising, and it was a very, again, it was a bet, right? Because people thought that tech is dead, and this is basically stop tech thing. And we were extremely lucky to raise a big seed round in 2023.
And so did your background, co-founding experience plus investing experience, did that help you in just those contexts that you had I guess, I don't want to say credibility, but you had the experience, you had the resume to just raise right from the start?
Yes, I think it helped definitely because I've seen it before. I know what investors are looking for. They're looking for, there's a power low in VC. They're looking for moonshots. And I think Nominal is still a moonshot. But I think since we raised, we de-risked the business quite a bit. And yeah, I think it helps, but I think again, like having a good idea, an experienced team, and executing and show there is a need or a wedge to this market. Like everybody agrees that there is a need in the ERP market. Every VC understands that. It's not a question even of, when. It's only the question of who. And the right team will find the right wedge to the market. And I think we have the right wedge, but we'll know in 5, 6 years if our approach was the right one. Currently, we see signs that we are on the right track.
Okay, yeah, appreciate that insight. And Guy, based on the current stage of your business, about 12 months into your journey, do you have a favorite number or metric that you're focused on to manage the business?
Yes. So, well, there are a few,
Hmm.
but what we're looking right now is, I read your articles about the ROSE metrics, and we're looking at because like what we're looking is basically for a BD motion, right? If you do an outbound motion, I'm looking for the CAC payback for each BD, and it gives you kind of an indicator if you had the right hiring or not. So I'm looking for every BD, every outbound SDR or business development rep to cover the salary, basically their OTE, on target earnings, in 6 months. So that it's two things, right? So if they cover their entire OTE, that means it can hire both. Like, sorry, you can hire two. And if someone doesn't meet their OTE in a year's time, you're basically recouped all the expenses. So that's one thing. And the second thing, it allows you to understand how you can grow in a way that it makes sense. Because if you look at CAC, the cost of acquisition, there's a lot of spend that you'll make on brand awareness, conferences, etc., that you cannot measure. But outbound business development, it's something that is really easy to measure. It's more scientific in a way.
Yeah, no, appreciate that insight. Yeah, especially if you invest in your go-to-market motion, definitely a lot of metrics. You mentioned CAC payback, a lot of the cost of ARR, one of my favorite metrics. And then earlier, I think you said the ROSE metrics. So yeah, appreciate that insight. So Guy, I appreciate your time today as we wrap up. What's coming up next for Nominal? I know you're right out of the gate here, so I'm sure a lot of things to do coming up.
Keep building, expanding our platform's capability, growing our customer base, and scaling our team to support the increasing demand for our platform.
That's great. That's great. I mean, definitely, just from my experience and talking to a ton of founders around the world, definitely I could see a fit there. So, Guy, really appreciate your time today. And if listeners would like to learn more about Nominal, where should we send them online?
You can visit our website at nominal.so and find us on LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. Well, Guy, really appreciate you sharing your time, your experience, and insights today. Listeners, if you'd like to learn more about Guy, check out Nominal, NOMINAL.so. To learn more, and Guy, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Ben. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks.